Speaking of multitasking and somebody who could do multiple things, like play offense and defense and win the Heisman Trophy for it. Also, you've got the ability to play for the Raiders and Packers and make the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And you can also make a phenomenal wine, Intercept Wines. Phenomenal. And now, look what I have on my desk. I've got not one, but 2 bottles of hard liquor with Charles Woodson's name on it. The great Pro Football Hall of Famer and my friend, Charles Woodson, back in the program. How are you, Charles?
Rich, I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to hear you got a couple of bottles on the desk.
Let me paint the word picture. Let me paint the word picture. It's what I do for a living, Charles. Woodson bourbon whiskey wine barrels. That's what I've got right here. Finished in wine barrels right here. I got that big-ass bottle in front of me. And wait for this one, gents. Let me read the label on this one. Woodson, it's bourbon whiskey and vermouth. Manhattan, made with bourbon whiskey and vermouth. Woodson Highs Manhattan.
Hey.
You see what I mean?
Hey, I see what you did there, Rich.
No, I see what you did. I see what you were doing.
Exactly. So, hey, man, you know, that's the name of the game, man. When it comes to, trying to build a brand,
yes, sir.
You know, you gotta make a label that people can connect with. And, if you can make a play on words, then you make a play on words. And, of course, you get it. You get the Highs Manhattan.
I do. So it's a Manhattan in a bottle? Is that what it is? Like you're just pouring it's a Manhattan. Is that what it is?
Man, it's a ready-to-pour Manhattan. I mean, you just put a big rock in a glass, pour it over that rock, add a cherry if you want to, and you're good to go.
Okay. And then and it says here, hold on a minute. Let's keep talking about this. Finished in CW's French oak Cabernet barrels. So once you're done with your Intercept wine, you put it in the Cabernet barrels. Is that what you're saying, or you just use different ones?
Once we're done with the aging process,
yes, sir.
Which the bourbon has to go through, its criteria of being able to be called bourbon. Once that's done, then we put it in the wine barrels and finish it in there for a period of time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, man. We're trying to, be sustainable at the same time.
Of course.
While we're doing this. So, yeah, man, that's what we got going on. Really.
I'm very excited. WoodsonWhiskey.com. You can find it in a store or order it online directly. Again, WoodsonWhiskey.com. All right, Charles. Did you see we're number 2 on the coaches? And I said we because you played for him. I shouldn't say we. But did you see Michigan is number 2 on the coaches poll? Did you see that?
You're an honorary player, Rich, so you could say we.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that?
I heard it. You did something in my ear.
Okay, very good. What do you think, Charles? What do you think?
I saw the number 2, and I love it. I love it because, we're getting some respect, and I like that for those young guys because they put in a ton of hard work, been through a lot with that program. Over the years, I would say the last, 15 to 20 years, especially in terms of playing, that Scarlet and Gray school. And so now we're in that position where we've gotten 2 wins against those guys twice in a row now and have made it to the playoffs finally, back-to-back years. And so, you got to take those steps. And you look at the last couple of years, we got there, but obviously, we weren't ready to win the whole thing, but in order to get to where you want to go, you got to take those steps. And so getting that respect, being at number 2, going into the season is great for those guys. But now, the target's on the back, and there were years when nobody was really expecting anything from them. Well, now there's expectations. So, hopefully those guys are ready to live up to that.
Have you spoken to Jim lately? It looks like he's going to miss the first 4 games. Charles? Have you spoken?
I spoke to him. I didn't speak to him about that.
Right.
When I was up there, they had a camp a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually able to take my son up there, my oldest son, to be able to witness, what a big-time program is all about, being able to, go into Schembechler Hall, see the weight room, and just, really just put his eyes on a big-time program. So that was awesome, for me to be able to take him up there. But I ran into Rich, and we just talked about everything, but didn't talk about the suspension. So
okay,
I don't know much about that.
No, so at some point, are you going to explain to your son that Michigan was an original Big Ten team? Is that we're going to have to sit down, children? Hey, Michigan's an original Big Ten. Is that what we say? Is that how it goes?
That's going to be a conversation we're going to have with a lot of kids, Rich. Not just my son, but just kids growing up all over this country. The original Big Ten and what happened to the Pac-12, and there's going to be a lot of conversations.
What do you think about all this, Charles? What do you think about this?
To me, I like change. I like the things to grow, get better if they will. I was just looking on TV earlier, and they were talking about Pac-12 not being able to secure TV deals and that sort of thing. So schools got to go where the money is at. That's certainly understandable. It's no different than anything else. You got to figure out. You got to figure out how you can maintain and joining the Big Ten is the way that some of these schools, the route they have to take. I'm all for it. So now we got to figure out. In my eyes, it's going to be two major conferences. It's going to be the Big Ten. It's going to be the SEC. The way I see it. So yeah, I'm all for it, man. Growth is good, and so they're just growing the game.
Well, it's kind of crazy though, right? That I'm currently living in Big Ten country here in Los Angeles. When I saw Warren at the Hall of Fame, Warren Moon at the Hall of Fame, I took a picture with him and Instagrammed it out, saying just two Big Ten guys hanging out here at the Hall of Fame, and it's just it's. I understand you got to adapt or die, but it's also really sad, isn't it? I mean, that we're in this position here. And I know, that Washington State was the team that you beat, and Ryan Leaf, like they're left behind. Washington State's kind of toast, you would think. Charles,
Yeah, I think that as you look at it, they have a saying, everybody can't go, and it's going to be sad for some teams that they're not going to be able to enjoy. One team in the conference enjoys, but that's just kind of the harsh reality, really, in life. You know what I mean? And not to disparage anybody that's not going to be able to follow the Oregons or the USCs or whatever team is leaving, but that's just kind of the way it is, Rich, and so everybody's got to figure out how they're going to deal with it. And like I said, that's the way life is. Things happen, and you got to deal with it. So we'll see what guys how they handle it.
I'm looking at your rookie contract. Your base salary for the Raiders was $350,000. Would you have made more in NIL if there was NIL in your final year at Michigan?
Man, I would have been a monster, Rich. Jeez. Oh, yeah, well, I wish we had that back in the day. I don't know what the number would be, but, man, I know it'd be seven figures the way the guys are getting paid now. I definitely would have been able to capitalize on that, man. I think it's great, that the kids are able now to capitalize on their, name, image, and likeness.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the numbers I think, for some players is outrageous, but it's no different than the professional ranks. Some guys you feel like they deserve a big contract, and some guys you're like, oh man, how did he get that much money? So it's all, to me, it's all the level playing field, and I think that had this been around when I was in school, most definitely I would have been able to make a ton of cash.
Yeah, I'm looking at your prorated bonus, $1.3 million your rookie year. NIL would have been north of that, you think? Let's go put a number on it. What do you think? 1.3 north of that? You, Charles Woodson, back in 1997?
I just rounded up to 2, just to
sure, why not?
Just to put a round figure on it.
Right.
But I'd say even north of 2, Rich. Why not?
Okay, why not? Charles Woodson here on the Rich Eisen Show. I don't know if you saw this, went viral the other day, but Norm Macdonald's joke at the ESPYs years ago. You were sitting there in the audience. Do you remember that one, Charles?
Yeah. Yeah, I was stunned just like everybody else.
I was about to say, how'd that one hit you? The joke that Charles that night at the ESPYs.
Well, it hit me a little different because I was a part of the joke, and we all know what went down, and so all of a sudden, he references me, and then all of a sudden, the OJ part comes in. I'm like, holy I was like, what? Why did he give me a head? Norm could have gave me a heads up, man. Like, hey, man, I'm gonna put you in this joke. Be ready for it.
Did you ever run into him?
Hit me with a sledgehammer. No, I never ran into him, man. So
okay.
But yeah, that was one of those viral moments.
Oh yes, like if there was Twitter or what have you back in the day, that would have gone that. Oh my gosh! Last couple for you, Charles. Before I let you go again, Charles Woodson, WoodsonWhiskey.com for the 2 bottles that I have on the desk and so much more. And Intercept Wines is incredible wine as well from Charles Woodson.
And just to mention before you go on,
please,
the official bourbon of the Las Vegas Raiders. So you got to throw that in there, man, because that's a big deal.
Yes,
big deal happening today,
yes, the official. Whiskey, official bourbon of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium, too. Oh, look at this photograph.
Yes.
Look at you standing there in a building. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Okay.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Okay.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Okay.
Yep, I'm back.
So signed, sealed, and delivered, you're back, but Josh Jacobs is not, basically, right now. Right, Charles?
Yeah, as of right now, I beat him. I beat him back to the Raiders.
What do you think? Is he coming or what? What do you think? Is he coming? What do you think, Charles? What do you think?
Well, I certainly hope. I certainly hope so. Certainly a young man that's deserving, everything that he can get, from his profession. We're kind of in this period right now where the running back man is in a tough position right now in terms of them receiving what they feel like they're valued at, and you got a rushing title coming off of last year and not being able to kind of realize, what he wants to realize as a player, especially when you look around and you see, what the quarterbacks make, what the, offensive tackles or defensive linemen and those guys make. And here you have the running backs that are kind of being held off. But, man, he's a guy that I'm hopeful that they can work a deal out because, you got a new quarterback coming in. You got Devontae, who you brought over, a year ago, who wants to win, and Jimmy G is going to need him in that backfield, just to take a load off of him. So yeah, man, I'm hoping that they can get him signed, and at the same time, understanding that these guys they're looking at the business side of things more so than they ever have, in our league, and so hopefully, man, they can get something done with him.
And then last one for you. Have you spoken with Aaron Rodgers since he's put on a Jet uniform, Charles Woodson? Have you connected with him at all?
I spoke to him. I spoke to him a little bit out in Tahoe at the American Century Championship golf tournament a couple weeks ago. And, man, I just got to say, man, he looks like a new man to me. He just had a real, if I will, a real glow about him. He looks like he's very excited about the move, excited to be there with the Jets. I think, the younger guys on the team, some young superstars have really energized him. So I look for, a really, really, really good year out of A-Rod this year, man. He looks great, looks happy.
Yeah, I know. Again, you might have been traveling, and again, the news today that the whiskey that's right here on my desk is the official bourbon of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium, the Woodson Bourbon Whiskey. But I don't know if you saw Hard Knocks last night. The glow that you're referring to, feeling like a different man, a new man, that came across in the 60-minute episode last night, big time. That he looks happy and content and engaged and eager to be the Jets quarterback in a way that it even took me back, Charles, to be very honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to catch it last night. I was my youngest son is just starting his first year of tackle football, and they get out of practice at 8-something. So I'm trying to get home and get myself in the bed and get up the next morning and take my oldest son to practice. So didn't get the chance to see it, but looking at him and being around him, I think, Aaron, he's spent 18 years in Green Bay being, a small town. And I really think as Aaron has gotten older, I think he's more of a big city guy. And I think New York has really, brought that side out of him. And I think he's excited about, being in the city, being able to, you've seen him at Broadway plays, I believe, and he's at concerts. He's dancing a little bit, like he's having fun. You know, this is a real a real restart, you know, to his career, if you will, after 18 years. You know, to kind of get a second chance at another chapter in his life, and to do it in the Big Apple. I think it's really, you know, bringing the best out of him. So, man, I'm excited to see what he does this year.
Thanks for the time, Charles. Enjoy practice with your kids, and I know you're going to be in Vegas this weekend promoting your partnership with the Raiders with Woodson Bourbon Whiskey at the Raiders-Niners preseason game, a little Jimmy Garoppolo homecoming in a way. And let's chat down the line. And I know you'll be out here soon as part of your work with Fox Sports every now and then. I'd love to have you in studio again. I miss you. You be well.
Can't wait, man. Yep, it'll be good to see you. Enjoy that Highs Manhattan.
I will.
Enjoy your little Woodson Bourbon Whiskey.
I will do that.
Official bourbon of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Very good. I appreciate it. Here's what I'll do is I'll leave the Woodson Highs Manhattan here in studio, and then take the big ass bottle home. That's what I'm going to do. Put on my new bar.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Sounds good.
I like it. Enjoy.
Thanks, Charles. Greatly appreciate it. It's Charles Woodson, Pro Football Hall of Famer, and now a partner of the Raiders. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.